Court is calling 2023 CR 8639W, State of Texas versus Stephen Carmona. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Travis Banks, the state of Texas.
Defense.
Johnny Cisneros for Mr. Carmona.
Are you Mr. Carmona?
I am, Your Honor.
Do you understand by information you're being charged with repeated violation of a court order or bond condition family violence? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
I do.
Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
All right. Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, I just got to meet him a little while ago, and he seems like a fine young man. His parents are here. He's been brought up right. He's had a couple of issues before, nothing serious, but I think this is a good deal for him. It's a volatile situation that we have in front of us with his wife. And when we finish this, I'm going to call his divorce attorney and let the divorce attorney know what's going on and how they need to proceed to protect him on my end.
Okay. All right. Mr. Carmona, are you employed?
I am, Yes, Your Honor.
What do you do?
I'm a call center manager.
What does that mean? For which company?
So I work for Go Health. What we
Okay.
do is Medicare licensed agencies to enroll 65 and older.
All right. Why do you keep showing up at Ms. Hernandez's place? She doesn't want you anymore.
A lot of things were just to assist with the children.
She doesn't want you anymore. Do you understand what protective orders mean?
Yes, ma'am.
That means that you can't have any contact. That means that when I read in the police report that you're at the apartment, she's not there, which means if she's not there, that means that there are no children there. How old are the children?
He's 4 years old.
He's 4. So when you went to her apartment and she wasn't there, there was no 4-year-old there. So don't come before me telling me that you're doing this because there are a lot of child things going along. You still want her. She doesn't want you. She doesn't want to be bothered by you. The only time you can see her is when you all are in civil court with the divorce. Do you understand?
I do. Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
42.
You're 42 years old. How long were you married?
Almost 7 years.
7 years?
That's right.
So that means that you've been alive on the planet longer than you've been married to her. Let it go. You're not a teenager. She doesn't want you. If you violate the conditions that I'm going to give you, what's going to end up happening is you're potentially going to prison for 10 years. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that you do not understand that I'm saying to you?
Oh, ma'am.
If you are at the HEB and you see her at the HEB on aisle 2 or whatever, you need to leave that HEB. If you see her walking down the street and you're walking on that same street, doesn't matter if you got there first, you need to leave that street. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
She does not want to be in a relationship with you. If you all are working out arrangements through your divorce where there's child arrangements, that needs to be done through a third party. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And if she gets involved in another relationship with somebody else, not your business. Do you understand? Well, you say yes, but you're here for repeated violation of bond conditions and protective orders. She doesn't want you. You got to accept it and move it on. You understand?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
if on the inside you are breaking down and your heart is broken and you think it's broken in a million pieces and it will never recover, pretend like your heart is not broken and keep moving. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. There's a $0 fine, 6 years deferred adjudication. All right. We can go off the record from here on out. Everything that you do, you need to ask yourself 2 questions. One is what I'm doing, could it potentially result in me going to prison for 10 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. Do you understand? And I am serious about you not having any contact with her. I don't know. This is the last time I'm going to say it. She doesn't want you. She doesn't want to be in a relationship. She doesn't want a Valentine's Day card from you. She does not want a Happy Mother's Day card from you. Do not send that. And if you do any of those things, if you email her, if you text her, if you send a card, if you send flowers just because, if you send something saying, I apologize for the way I behaved and this divorce is my fault, that will be a violation. Do you understand?
I do know.
And do not have third parties contacting her unless it's your parents or somebody approved by probation to make arrangements for child visitation. Do you understand?
I didn't know.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
And
Thank you.
I was
All right. The court is calling 2023 CR 8639W, State of Texas versus Stephen Carmona. Could I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, hand your honor.
Defense.
and Johnny Cisneros.
And are you Mr. Carmona?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Good
All
time.
right. Did you review the document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney?
Yes,
Did you understand it?
I did. Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Stephen Carmona who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2023 CR 8639W for the offense of repeated violation court order bond condition on October 3rd, 2023 for a period of 6 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state.
Yes, your honor. Violating condition number 2 on or about the 5th day of October 2023. Bear County, Texas. Defendant Stephen Romano, resident there, consumed alcoholic beverages, violation condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
Excuse me, can I have a stamp for a motion to revoke? All right, thank you. And state with regards to the other violation?
Will be, one, allegation.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 2, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
I do, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 2?
Do, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 2 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
No, there's not, your honor.
All right, state, what are you recommending? All right.
At one time.
And defense?
Judge, I'm recommending that you continue him on probation. He's been doing good. He's been on the GPS for 11 months approximately. And he hasn't had any violations. It's in the actual report that there's no violations. There haven't been any violations. And other than drinking alcohol that day, he's been doing wonderful. He's doing good. He's been following my advice. He's been following the court's advice or orders. And he's doing great, except for that one mistake, bad decision, not a mistake, bad decision. And I'd like for him to just continue him on probation and let's keep seeing how he continues. And if he continues to do well, then he'll be successful.
All right. So last time we were here in July, the warrant was recalled. And I asked that he complete daily sober meetings. Has that been done?
No, Your Honor. I recently have.
Let me have you raise your right hand for me.
Oh.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Stephen Carmona.
All right, so I ordered daily sober meetings. Why hasn't that been done?
I recently got an employment as a director of operations in a call center. It gives me 7 to 7 hours, Monday to Friday. I also have a 5-year-old that I share like joint custody with. So I have him anytime his mom is at work. She works in the evenings. So she goes in anytime between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. So because of that, I couldn't find any virtual AA meeting. And the only ones that I could attend would start at 10 o'clock.
All right, so did you come into the court and tell me or tell your probation officer, hey, I know the judge ordered daily sober support meetings, but here's the issue I'm having?
I did tell my probation officer this past time that I saw Ms. Guerra, and she did tell me that I could go online for resources, and she provided me a link and information so I could go and start attending it. This was this past week.
All right, so I had ordered that since July 11th. Why are you only doing it this past week?
So initially, when I did talk to my probation officer, Ms. Guerra, She had told me not to report because of the fact that the systems were still showing an active warrant. So the last time I was in here, I was detained. I thought it was for failure to appear here, but it was, she told me that it was failure to report, which I wasn't aware of. And when she did call me and tell me, that's when I went and reported, and that's when I gave her all the information.
All right. Any other questions?
Nothing from the state.
Ms. Abrams?
Yes, Judge.
So has he spoken to his probation officer about the sober support meetings?
Judge, I was just reviewing, the notes on the case.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
I would like for you to continue him. And I will promise you, I will have a very stern conversation with him about following the court's orders. I know it's July and then August, so we're missing a few days here that he didn't do what he was ordered to do. But I will have a very stern conversation with him. I will tell him that, as he already knows, the possible results of what can happen if he doesn't follow the court's orders. But I've gotten to know Mr. Carmona since he retained me. He is a fine young man. He has been doing well with the orders other than the alcohol consumption and this. So if I may get in a little bit of an extension for him so he can start doing what he needs to do. And then we're due back in January. So on the other case, and we can come on that day or we can come anytime in between there, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Abrams?
Yes, Judge, I did review the notes that were in the system, and no notes indicate that conversation was had in regards to sober support.
All right. So let me ask you this. Is it possible to have his probation officer zoom in?
Judge, the probation officer listed is on modified duty. I can make sure, due to health reasons, I can
Okay.
make sure she's in the office and see if she can.
All right, then if she can't zoom in today, I can recall this. I've accepted his plea of true. State of Texas versus Stephen Carmona for the state,
Jason Garrett, yeah.
for the defense.
Johnny Cisneros?
And are you Mr. Carmona?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we have Officer Norma Guerra here. Any objection to the officer appearing by Zoom, state
No.
defense?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any objections to her appearing by Zoom?
No, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Guerra, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Officer Norma Maya Guerra.
Oh,
All right, any objections to the court just getting to the crux of the issue?
No,
No, ma'am.
All right, so officer, the court ordered Mr. Carmona to do sober support meetings daily beginning July 11th until today. Mr. Carmona has testified that he spoke to you about his inability to do the meetings. Is that correct?
Sober meetings were never discussed with him.
We discussed it on the exit when I was leaving.
On the exit when you were leaving, I
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
recall talking about sober meetings, sir.
All right, so Officer Guerra, did you ever speak to him about sober support meetings?
No, ma'am.
Did he ever speak to you stating that he was unable to do his sober support meetings?
Not that I can recall, Your Honor, no.
All right, any questions?
Nothing from the state.
Any questions?
No questions, Your Honor. Just re-urge my argument.
All right, thank you so much, Officer Guerra.
You're welcome. Is that it, Your Honor?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Mhm.
All right. All right, so the officer has testified that no one spoke to her about sober support meetings and the inability to do those.
We spoke, Your Honor. It was on the exit because I had told her that I was ordered to do 7 days daily, and she was surprised because I felt like it was a lot for me to do. given my situation, my income, everything that I have to pay for. She's the one that told me, I told her that I've researched 12 and 12, I need to be a member to do the virtual meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning. She also was the one that said, well, I've had another person that I've been working with, and I advised him to Google virtual alcohol meetings. It was on the exit as I was leaving probation. I wouldn't come up here and put myself at the mercy of the court, trying to claim some ownership for what I've done. I understand that it's wrong, right? I do. I fully take responsibility for that. My thing is that, you know, like I was telling Mr. Cisneros, is on paper, it might look like I make money, but I got a mortgage, I got child support, I got utilities, I got other fees like GPS and probation and bondsmen. And so when it's all said and done with, I'm limited. You know, I got my 5-year-old that I take care of half the time, so his mom can go to work in the evenings. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm doing, you know, and that's where I ask for you, please, to reinstate my probation. And, you know, it's one of those things where I've gone through a whole bunch of stuff. My divorce after 18 months was finalized in July. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on. And
All right, any questions, State? All right, so Ms. Abrams, in State, in the defense. So in this case, the person I have before me, this is his first motion to revoke, and it's for drinking alcohol, which he's not allowed to drink alcohol. I know I ordered sober support meetings, and that wasn't done. And I do know that I tell everybody, if there's an issue, you can come back to court and address it with me. And I guess when I order people to do things, they're like, you know what? Let me just come before the judge and say, I wasn't able to do it. Instead of coming in, nope, don't give me attitude. All right. Instead of coming in and saying, I have an issue with sober support meetings. This is what's going on in my life. Then that could have been something that perhaps we could have figured out. But when people are doing their own things and then come to me at the end of the day trying to figure something out, something should have been figured out in July.
I agree.
Your Honor,
I don't mean no disrespect at all, you know, and it was maybe something that I just didn't know. I mean, I have called up here to the courts and I talked to, you know.
No, I tell people to come in.
Yeah.
Do I not tell people that they can come into court?
I
Just one
understand.
second, Ms. Abrams, there's something you wanted to say?
Oh, no, Judge.
Okay. All right. So
Judge,
then,
if I may say one more thing,
yes.
and excuse me for interrupting. The probation officer opened the door about there being a possibility that he did talk to her about it, because she said, not that I can recall. So I'm believing my client that he did talk to her about it. And of course, there's still the he said, she said situation, but she herself, and I'm going to repeat myself, but she said that not that I can recall. So I think, again, if I may re-urge my request of the court to just give him another chance, I'll have a very strong and stern meeting with him and conversation, and tell him that it's, while we understand it's a zero tolerance policy now, I will make sure and reassure that he knows what zero policy means, and we can put him on or zero tolerance. So I'm asking for one more chance for him. I've gotten to know him, like I mentioned. He's a wonderful young man, just didn't follow the court's orders, and I don't think he understood the gravity of the situation. And we're just asking for a continuance, Your Honor.
Anything else from the state?
No,
All right. Anything else from probation?
Judge, I would like to point out that Mr. Carmona has completed his parenting classes, which gave him full credit for his community service hours. He has given 3 negative UAs. He is paying toward his fees. Being on GPS, he's not received any other violations.
Okay.
So just those points to give the court to consider.
So what he has done as a violation of his probation, he was placed on probation October 3rd, 2023. And this is his first violation, and it's drinking alcohol.
That's correct.
All right. You are not allowed to drink alcohol while you're on probation, period. Doesn't matter if you're in your house, doesn't matter that alcohol is legal. Those are the rules that the legislature set up. It is not my rule per se. It's the legislature's rule. You're not allowed to drink alcohol. Do you understand? All right. I'm going to continue him because this is his first motion to revoke and it's for drinking alcohol. I'm not removing GPS. That's going to be a punishment.
Understood.
So he's going to have GPS for 60 more days. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you do not understand?
No, ma'am.
And I want those sober support meetings, and you're going to do sober support meetings 60 and 60 days. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you do not understand?
No, ma'am.
And for the last time, this is what I'm going to say. If there's an issue, let your probation officer know. If you feel as though they're not addressing it, you can walk into this courtroom. Do you understand?
I do. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I apologize. During his last TAP evaluation, it was, based on the information that was provided, substance abuse treatment was not recommended at that point.
Mhm.
I would like to see about getting another TAP recommendation completed based on the offense that was, the drinking alcohol, and then maybe a little bit of his previous, criminal history.
All right, so it's going to be deny the motion, alternate amend conditions to include a TAP evaluation, out of custody, follow TAP recommendations. If TAP recommends inpatient, we'll start with outpatient treatment. There's going to be 60 sober meetings in 60 days and 60 days GPS.
Your Honor, would the court be open to an oral motion for the waiver of the fees of the GPS?
The only thing is I can ask that they be deferred and waived, but that's a third party contract.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Not from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.